Welcome to my Ruby Slippers. I'm Lily Strong from the blog Lily Strong. Today we're going to talk about something that I think is very interesting. But if you're new here, let me tell you, well, first of all, welcome. And just want to explain that this is a safe place to discuss healing from abuse, misuse, and cruelty. We talk about walking your own personal yellow brick road of healing and learning how to trust your own compass for directions and finally finding your way home to yourself. I would like to encourage you to hit like and share and subscribe to this podcast series and our website for newsletters and informative articles and just a lot of encouragement. There's also a free resource called 20 Days Rising from the Shadows of Depression, and you can get that on our website, lillystrong.com, and that is Lily with three L's, Lillystring. So when I first started writing my blog in the year 2021, I wrote these exact words about how I felt about myself. And I pulled this out of my old files the other day. I said, I am an average person who was blithely leading an average life before I was completely and utterly blindsided by unimaginable betrayal. Now, years later, and with the help of hindsight and countless hours of therapy, I can tell you no, I was not living an average life. I had been brainwashed and manipulated to the point that I no longer knew what an average life would look like. But sadly, the end of that sentence still rings true. I was utterly blindsided by unimaginable betrayal. And I can tell you for certain that I would not be where I am today in my healing journey if it weren't for the support of my friends. But before my friends could even help me, I had to first admit that I was in a pretty bad situation. And it's never easy to admit you're being abused. So I interviewed a couple of my very best friends, and I'm going to play part of that interview for y'all now. The sound does get a little funky at times. We all laugh a lot, and my microphone kept cutting out when we would laugh, but please just bear with us. We're not professionals, we're just sharing our story. So, when faced with marital problems, there can be a sense of shame and embarrassment, especially when you're in a religious community, such as I've always been a part of. So, when the betrayal began, I just didn't know who to turn to. I mean, I was supposed to confide in my husband as my best friend, right? And he didn't want me to ever talk about our marriage to other people because, well, women are so gossipy and people are mean spirited, and the only authority I should consult about living my life is God. And who better to interpret what God's word is saying to me than my husband, a man who grew up in a church, and he even went to a Bible college for a while. And of course, he was the self professed holder of knowledge.
Oh, yeah.
So, well, I shouldn't have let him tell me his version of what God wanted for me or his version of what a good, happy, healthy marriage should look like. It turns out once I started confiding in the right people, a lot of changes began happening. Today I have two of my main support people with me, my girl gang, my BFFs, my literal lifelines. Judy and Heather. Now, before they even knew, I was keeping everything a secret still from them because I was just so brainwashed and I didn't really know what to do. But then I finally reached out to my uncle because he is a lawyer and I thought he could give me his legal perspective. And he really encouraged me to talk to Judy, who's here. She's my sister cousin, and she has a background in marriage family therapy. Okay, so Judy,
Yes.
do you remember the first thing I told you that was a little bit of a red flag that I was in an abusive relationship?
Yeah, so I remember chatting and we were kind of catching up. We didn't see each other very often and we had just caught up. It was post pandemic and so we were kind of like catching up after a lot of things and there was a lot of yeah, just kind of sharing different stories. And so, but then you shared this thing and you had said you talked to our uncle about it and you wanted my perspective on this, on the bank account situation.
Yes.
And so that was kind of the thing. And I had not always been a fan of your ex. Like, your relationship was one that I would not choose for myself. Like, there was things that, like, decisions made, but I didn't feel like that was my place to, like, share that and to say like you shouldn't do this, you should be like me, because it's not like I'm perfect, but like like there's things that I didn't agree with that I wouldn't make for myself, but like this was a thing that was a clear betrayal. And I think like when you shared that with me, there was that kind of thing where you were trying to make it okay. You were trying to say, like, well, but, like, maybe
Exactly.
there is some sort of misunderstanding. And this was like, no, this is not. Like, this is like, there's a clear, like, thing. And the other thing that I remember really, like, honed in on was, like, his reaction to it. If he had a simple reaction or simple explanation for it, then it would have been like, okay, well, we'll see. But he didn't. He got very defensive. He got very, like, even more kind of like digging in. And that made me feel like, okay, you're not safe. Like, this is like going from, like, I don't agree with your relationship choice to this is not a safe situation. And we need to, like, make some plans. And I remember you were very focused on like, but what is everyone gonna think?
Yep.
Like I can't
The
kinda
kids.
like, the kids.
Right.
Yeah, just kind of like you were saying, you were very much in the church. You didn't want to be seen as a sinful,
Right.
whatever wife, and you just were very concerned about what other people might think about you if you questioned. And I didn't agree. I really felt like that was like not safe. And you're starting to kind of push at doors that he was clearly not wanting you to push into. And so every time he was resisting you and trying to talk you into not talking to people, he was telling you not to talk to people. For your listeners, anytime anybody says don't tell people about this thing, you should really look at what that thing is. Like,
Yeah.
like what is that like? I mean, going back to like I told my Girl Scouts, if any adult tells you not to tell their parents, run.
Tell them.
Go tell them and run. Yeah, so that was very concerning for me, and that's when I wanted to put you on lockdown.
Not let you go back.
Yep.
But I think your background and knowledge of knowing so much really helped give me some perspective, because yeah, I was definitely like, oh, it must be my fault. I must be misinterpreting things. And his initial reaction was like, oh my gosh, are you going to leave me? And it's like, well, no, that wasn't my first thought.
Right.
I thought maybe we could figure out what's going on.
Yeah, you could just tell me the truth.
Yeah, yeah. And you said, yeah, things to look out for. He said, I will never lie to you unless it's to protect you.
Yes.
Okay.
That was another piece of like that. Like protect I'm just trying to keep you safe and protect you. That was like no, that was not true.
Yeah. Protect me from him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So Judy helped me day by day. I had gone back to Texas and was trying to figure things out, and Judy really kept track of me and kept in contact with me, even though I couldn't like talk on my phone because he was like suddenly everywhere and paying attention to everything I did. But I would send you messages through Facebook and say, oh, he said this, and you wouldn't even answer. You just send back an article about this is what gaslighting is.
Sweet.
And it was perfect
Yeah.
because I didn't know to apply those words to
Right.
me.
Right.
So then 3 months later, I ended up moving out with all the help from Judy and family. And I finally got up the nerve to tell my best friend who was in the dark, and I'm so sorry about that.
Okay.
So, Heather, do you
Yes.
remember that first day we sat down for brunch and I spilled my guts and my story kept going and going and going?
And going and going. I do remember that day. I don't remember all the details because there were a lot of details.
Yeah.
But I just, yes, I do remember that. And
Did you ever think I was a joke?
no, never a joke. Ever a joke. Ever a joke.
Nobody can make this stuff up.
Nobody can make this stuff up. Yeah.
True.
But I do remember just feeling like, I know you said nothing's going to hurt your feelings, but like, I just remember feeling so sad, just so sad that this was a life that you were living for so long and quietly for so long and masking very well. But at the same time, knowing as we're talking and you keep coming to the realizations as it goes on, as you're kind of like coming out of the fog of his manipulation and his lies and his control, all the bad words, and just really realizing that, this is something that happens over time. This is not something that, anything you were telling me, it's like, for me hearing it for the first time, it's like, well, yeah, or hell no, or I don't think so, or, I'm thinking all those things, but that's like when you haven't been slowly eroded down to what you were at the point of when you left.
Right.
So I realized that you are a smart, wise woman. And I've always considered you my soul sister friend. So I've always called you that, like forever. Yeah. And I would never think that like you were, I don't know what word you just said, but like dumb or whatever. Like I would never think that, like ever. I was just more just sad and just like angry, very angry at who you used to be married to. And just, I had no good words in my head for him. So I'm the person who, the memes that go around where you call your best friend and they show up in the inflatable dinosaur with the baseball bat and you're just like, tell me when and where and I'll be there. Like that's how I was feeling. So
And the three of us are always sending each other things like that.
Yes, we are. We're like, you rewrite it on. So, no, I don't think you were crazy or delusional. I was just super sad that you were put through that. And we're just learning more and more stuff as time went on. And it seemed like every week we got together, there was more stuff. And it would just, made me sad. It made me really sad because you're a pure soul. For someone to take such advantage of that is just, it breaks my heart. So, yeah.
You guys have so much patience. You give me so much grace.
Well,
I almost wonder sometimes now if it's like the opposite. Like I look now at myself and think, why did it take me so long to be more accepting of, yes, go, leave. This is terrible.
You were so deeply like in it.
I was.
Right.
It's not
Right.
practicing like what was it, 30 years.
30 years. Yeah.
Plus dating.
It's like if you think of like how I'm having to think of like how like, roots kind of grow over something,
Right.
and like kind of how like slowly things just kind of like, I'm making this motion with my hands.
you should see it. It's really good.
Yeah, fingers coming together. But things grow over. So it's like that over 30 years.
Yeah.
You built trust with this person.
Yes.
Starting with a belief in the beginning that this is going to be your person. Like coming from your faith, there was never a question of like, this is my person that I'm choosing till death do us part. I'm going to show up for this person and he's going to show up for me.
And knowing that he's lying to you from day one of dating.
Totally.
Like from the very beginning.
So so you went into this and it just like those cobwebs just grew and grew and grew and grew over that.
Because they're sticky, you can't get out of them.
Totally. And so it's just, but it's like that constant growth. So it's like 30 years because that was what like, when you came back, it did feel like almost every night you were kind of like, I just realized this thing. Like before we were dating, like before, like when, 3 months into our marriage, this happened. And, now I'm kind of like starting to realize from this different eyes, but you at that moment came in with this very clear understanding of what you thought this relationship was.
Right.
And so it wasn't just like, oh, well, he did this thing. It's not like you just got like, you show up late to work one day and you're like fired. It's like, it's it's like there was this like crack in the structure, and you started to like
See that.
kind of open that up a little bit and see this whole other part that you had never seen, that you had never been exposed to. So it took a long time to like kind of sort through that.
It really did. Yeah.
I mean, I think I can't imagine you knowing like everything all at once. And
I
like
think I
what
know everything still.
exactly. And like what that would have done to you. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, I think it would have been too much.
I think
for
Judy
me.
and I would have been on a flight to where this person lives
yeah.
and had some words.
Yeah, and I think like there did come a point where you're just like, I just can't care anymore. Like I have enough information.
Yeah.
Like I just can't.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I can't, because he would do the thing of ask me and I'll tell you the truth. And it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Well, I don't even know what to ask you.
Right.
Yeah, or if you're telling the truth, because like
Right.
you've lied to me more times than you told me the truth, so I don't know.
He definitely hid behind his Christianity and,
Yeah.
and said,
Used it as an
God
abusive.
told me that I can
Yep.
only tell you the truth now. So if God's in charge, I can only tell you the truth. It's like, what? You've been lying to
Well,
me.
thank
this
goodness
whole time.
God decided that He can tell you the truth now.
Right,
Like,
right.
I'm pretty sure that God is a truth teller.
Yeah, I don't think
like
I was telling you to lie before.
exactly.
For her protection.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Okay. So I was a
yeah.
mess. I was definitely a big mess I'm still kind of a mess. It's a long process. And like in the beginning, I'd go up every night with Judy and your husband, and we'd have wine and wine time. We'd drink wine and I'd whine about everything.
It's like,
I wish Yeah. I wish I lived there.
We created some good memories.
We did. It was awesome.
Out of a really bad situation. But how did you feel? I mean, you are the reason why I was able to get the strength to leave. You provided a safe place for me to arrive in, and you provided me with the tools and the knowledge and all that. And then you were my like absolute best friend. You were gonna put on that tutu and go on out and fight my
that's right.
battle.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yep.
what were things that you guys had to think of during the time that you were trying to purposely do to help a person in a bad situation like that?
I mean, for myself, I think obviously I've never been in this situation. I just wanted to be there for you. Like, I just knew I wanted to be there for you as much as possible because you were out here not totally alone because you had your cousin Judy here and her family, and you have the support out here. But I just wanted to be there for you. Like, I don't know what that looks like. I just know it's being available if you call me, texting you right back if you text me, meeting. I definitely was very intentional on seeing you at least once a week.
Yep,
if
you would
not,
drive out at least once a week.
Yes.
Every week.
Yes. I was.
And she's like, what, 30, 40 minutes away?
Yeah, no traffic, 35. And then it can go up from there. But, it didn't matter. It didn't matter to me. If I had like a 3-hour window, that was enough time to get there, have at least an hour to maybe an hour and a half, and then drive home before I had to go to work or something. Like it was incredibly intentional, and I'm thankful my children were the age that they were because I did not have to like be driving them back and forth from places. They're young adults by then and like on their own doing well. So yeah, I just wanted to touch base with you, phone calls and also with texting and then also face to face in person. So, and then also I didn't know how I could help, but I work for a really cool organization, a nonprofit, and I knew that my director could help somehow.
Yeah.
So I connected you with her. And then also around Christmas time, I did this as a very anonymous thing, but I rallied a bunch of our friends from the past that you had before you had moved out of state, and to just support somebody who had nothing is basically what I said for Christmas time. And just tried to gather as much like gas cards or grocery cards or things that you could tangibly use to just try to make life a little bit easier. Like, I just didn't know how, but like, that's all I could think of. I say that's all I can think of. I know that's a lot,
It
but
was
like,
amazing.
yeah, but I just, yeah.
And I had to go back and explain that part. When we were out here at Christmas time, I caught COVID, and it was still during, it was I was very, very sick with it, and I'd ordered some Christmas stockings, and they were at the
That's right.
store
I
to
always
get
forget
picked
that.
up.
Yes.
And I asked you if you could pick them up for me
That's
because
right.
I was sick. So then you brought me my Christmas stockings full of gift cards.
Full of stuff.
It was so amazing.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. It was fun to do. I like doing a fun little surprise like that. So that was very fun for me to do. And yeah, I hoped it would help somehow.
So I definitely feel so incredibly blessed that I had friends in both of you that you were looking out for me, you were thinking of me, you were reaching out, you were making sure I wasn't alone. Heather, you were going out with me every week, and then Judy, you were like my cheerleader, like my biggest cheerleader. Anything I said, you were like, okay, well, let's go do that. I'm like, oh, my therapist said I should go and be in a play. You're like, okay, how are we going to get that done? Let's sign you up.
We got you in a play.
Yeah, you were already connected to a theater group.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
easy
you were
peasy.
doing well. But yeah, I mean, I think it was kind of I was gonna say it was a cool situation, but it wasn't a cool, it was a bad situation, but it was like a cool, to be a part
outlet
of helping you and being a part of, it was kind of, it was just a cool thing to be a part of your recovery and your
healing.
Empowerment. I think that was kind of that validating of those thoughts, because you would come up and go I'm kind of wondering about this now, and we're like,
Yes.
that's not right either.
Yeah.
So many of my stories.
I was going to say so many things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I had just been brainwashed to
Yeah,
think this was
honestly.
okay, this was not.
And it
You
made
really were.
sense. It wasn't because you were stupid or
No,
anything.
not at
It's
all.
it's
Not
because
at
it's
all.
that whole boiling frog thing that
Yeah.
if you put a frog in boiling water, it's going to jump out. If you slowly up the heat, it's going to boil in the water because it doesn't feel like getting hotter and hotter and hotter. And that's kind of what the situation was. It wasn't that it was, again, those cobwebs had grown so tightly over that reality
Right.
that he had built for you,
Right.
that it was really hard to dig out what made sense and clean up what made sense. And so as far as showing, I don't know, it just was a very natural thing that you were there and you were a part of it.
Yeah.
We grew up together,
Yeah.
so we've always had a very easy relationship, I thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that sure did help.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
It was just
right.
being home, it's just having that,
One thing I want to say is it is incredibly difficult to share this kind of information. You feel like you're in everything completely alone, because I was isolated. I had been moved to a different state. I really didn't have freedom. I had my phone calls listened to. I just was in a big family and was very alone. And the fact that I had you guys never doubted me, you never questioned me. You just, both of you, came together and said, let's do this. Let's make you be safe. And I think that's just incredible. And I hope anyone who's going through a hard time is lucky enough to have friendships like that, because that really has made all the difference. I don't think I'd be out of that situation if I didn't have you guys. It's that big of a deal. I also wanted to talk a little bit about how it made you guys feel, personally, not just about your friendship with me, but did it make you look at your own marriages kind of differently? I remember vividly sharing with a couple of my friends from high school, and my one friend immediately started wondering about her husband. She's like, "Oh my gosh, could that be happening to me? Oh my gosh!" And then I talked to another friend the next day, and she was doing the exact same thing, and I'm like, "Oh no!" I'm like,
Starting
You're
to
breaking everyone up.
Did you guys ever have any concerns like maybe I'm not aware of what's going on in my life either?
Totally. I mean, I did like go like, can I see the bank accounts? And my husband's like, sure.
Yeah.
I have been asking you to be a part of this, and I'm like, okay, never mind. You go through the bills. You're good. I mean, I think it was plausible enough. Like, I think like when I would like tell other people your story, they'd be like, how could she have not known? I'm like, so easily. Like, it's just, it was such a well crafted, like, built
And gradual.
situation and gradual situation. So, but I think like, I mean, I definitely opened up conversations, but I think we were good.
For me, my husband and I, anybody that knows me knows there's been some struggles. Yeah, it kind of did make me think like, okay, well, let me, you kind of like play things back in your mind sometimes and just, what have I gotten complacent to? What am I putting up with that I really don't appreciate, or something that I don't think is valuable towards our relationship? So, yeah, it might have been a little bit more eye-opening. And, I had struggled with my relationship over the years, but because your ex took you so far away and isolated you, which I'm going to say it that way because that's really what it was.
That's what he did.
You and I were both raising our kids.
Yeah.
And that's a very busy time of life, because sometimes we're fortunate. I was fortunate for a long time to be able to stay at home mom. But a lot of people are moms and doing all the mom things and also working full-time, part-time, but like trying to manage all of that. And I think, it was just so busy that we just didn't connect as often. I can't beat myself up over it.
No.
But I do sit here sometimes wondering like, gosh, if I had just like stayed in touch with her better, or
But see, you didn't realize that on the other end, he was sitting next to me every time I had a phone conversation.
anytime. Right, exactly.
Check
And-
my emails.
right.
He would check.
Yeah, and that's not normal.
And yeah,
That's not normal.
And if I ever said anything about that, his reaction was like, "Are you trying to hide something?"
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
no, my life's an open book.
So,
Here.
right.
But
So
you didn't
so-
realize that meant he was hiding.
Right.
Right. And so to even try to like let somebody know anything, like he's going to know.
Right.
So you are so trapped. But it was just kind of like, oh, well, my marriage ain't that great either. So let me just like, okay. Yeah.
And we're all in the same age group. So like,
Yes.
I was married for 30 years. Are you 30 years now?
I'm 31, I think.
Yeah. we
Plus
just
3
did
years
30.
dating.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so we're all kind of in, I mean, obviously relationships have their ebbs and flows, their ups and downs, there are easier times and harder times, but this is not what we're talking about here. This is like,
No.
this is abuse.
This is
It is abuse.
parallel universe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about Stranger Things.
Yeah,
Right.
upside down. You were living in the upside down.
How were you able to stay so strong for me without ever getting angry or annoyed with my blind allegiance? Because you would get angry and annoyed with him,
Yeah.
but I never felt like you wanted to shake me, and I bet so many times you
No,
did.
we never wanted to, no, I didn't ever want to shake you.
No,
Wake up.
there was times when you were still in Texas that I was wanting to go and just steal you out of your bed or something. Like there was a kind of almost like a desperate fear there that because I think that you didn't. I felt like I had more information about how bad your situation was, and you were like, he's not that bad. It's fine. And like, okay, maybe he lied a little bit. But I was
touch.
but you were like, so he wouldn't hurt me. And I knew a little bit more. Like, I just knew, like, if you corner somebody, they can become someone you didn't expect them to be. And so I was I was fearful for you. And so that was where I was a little bit more like, and again, like not frustrated with you, frustrated with the situation, that I would be more like, I think I even texted you, like, it will take me this amount of hours to drive out there.
Uh-huh.
And like, like, tell me when, I will be there. If I leave Friday morning, and so.
You also offered your brother to come out and help me too.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. He would come with me in a second. So yeah, like I think that, like, as far as when you were home, I think I felt bad for you. Like I felt like, when's it gonna stop? And this is like really hard. But I wasn't ever like mad at you.
Never.
I felt sad for you because especially in that time where you were so afraid to tell people. And I was so like, you need to tell people because you had already experienced a little bit with therapists. Like once you told like a micro dose of your situation, people would be like, "Oh my gosh," they would see it, and I knew that your friends here would also see it, like Heather, but you were so afraid of that, so that was also like really hard to watch because I knew you needed that support, and you did. You came around, and then the more you told the story, the more you were just like, "Yeah, this is messed up. Like, this is like,
Not okay.
because you were also kind of like hearing it again and kind of getting more empowered in that.
Well, and having to remember it and relive it, and
Well, and honestly, seeing other people's reactions too.
Right.
It's like,
right.
okay, so that was bad. Okay.
Yeah. So you think that's bad? Too.
Yeah.
No,
Not
I
the only
didn't.
one.
I didn't hear of anybody responding to you in a way of like, "Well, you really need to work it out." Like you have.
Thankfully, we didn't. But she did get that. Yeah. Oh. God.
They came around. They got over.
They did come around. I mean, like very quickly.
I mean, I had been married for 30 years, and both of my parents thought it was, a solid marriage because I had found my Christian man, and I was able to have my kids, and was able to portray having a very happy life. So it was difficult for my dad at first because he tried to equate pathological lying with an addiction. And he tried to say, well, it's kind of like being married to an alcoholic. It's something you can probably overcome. But he came around.
I mean,
Yes.
my mom's in dementia, so I got to give her grace
Yes,
for that.
yes.
Yeah. And even like, because I was with you when you told them, and it was like a little bit of catching up, like kind of, you could see like kind of the the reels going of like, okay, wait, no, what? And there was that kind of like, but don't you think you could,
Right.
but I think that they, like, even your dad, like that, a half hour later after the conversation was very like grateful. Like he pulled me aside, was really grateful for like my support of you. And I think that they, they did, like, they got it. And I know that was really hard to tell them because they're like that core. I was raised with the same thing. That core of like, you get married and that your parents have been married for 180 years.
Pretty much.
Right.
Like 70. Like they're like just like they got married at 5 and they've been married 90 years. Or I don't know. It's like, I mean, they were in it for life, and that's what we were.
No matter what. In it for life, no matter what.
No matter what.
Yeah.
And
And I'm sure they had ups and downs too, but for most of their marriage, it was modeled to me that they were happy.
Yeah.
Right.
And they were
Right.
honest with one another
Right.
and on the same page.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, I didn't catch that memo.
Right. No.
I mean,
I wrote a poem once that's on my website that it just says, "I just wish he had hit me."
Well, that opens a whole can of worms.
It does. But if he had hit me
Right.
on one of our dates,
Right.
I would have never stayed with him.
Right. Because a physical punch, slap, kick, hit, whatever, it just seems so obvious and obvious to other people.
Right.
At least to me, that's how I perceive that. It seems so obvious to other people. Like, well, yeah, like, why would you stay with this person? But like, when it is like manipulation, it's verbal, I mean, there was physical in there as well, but not a hit, not like, it just seems so obvious to everybody that it makes it, I don't want to say easier because I don't feel like any of this is easy, but almost more acceptable or visual that people can see and you can see, that makes it like it feels like a more clear line.
Yeah.
And when you're trying to explain to other people, you feel almost like you have to explain, which you don't, but you almost feel like you have to explain. How were they abusive to you emotionally, or were they neglecting you, or verbally and manipulatively, and all these things? And it's like you feel like you go on and on.
Emotional abuse, they think you're just a sensitive person, and
Right.
it's not.
it just
after
like,
it.
it just eats at you little by little by little by little. Yeah.
Because the marriage that you thought you were in, like, fit the mold.
Right.
Right.
Because he had worked really hard at building that facade for you.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Oh, and he definitely portrayed to people that he cherished you.
Yeah.
That was a word that
Yeah.
I always thought this person cherished
Yeah.
Lily. And I thought you were so lucky this guy cherished you.
Yeah.
And I think that I only use that for one other person, and he really does cherish her. But your ex did not cherish you, but he liked to make people think that he did.
He put on a good show.
Yes, he did. But what's interesting is as things would come out to other people, people would say like, "Oh, I always thought da 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 da," or "I never liked what he said about women in general," or they were around like high schooler boys and they'd say these things, and it was like, oh, ouch, you know, here I and it's like, oh, I never didn't like not like him, but he was your person, so obviously I'm gonna like him and accept him. But I always felt like he was a little chauvinistic, right? But then I would just kind of like push that aside because I saw how he treated you in front of me.
Right.
Right.
And also that like he just seemed to cherish you. So it was like, okay, maybe he's just like a jerk around other people and says really jerky things, you know?
People do.
As people do. And but that was not the case. That was actually, I think, his true self showing through. And
And he didn't like to show that very often.
yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I did ask one of my friends once who confessed that she never really liked him much. Like, why didn't you ever say anything? And she's like, well, because he was your person and I loved you. And it makes sense, you know, and I'm certainly not going to ever blame somebody else for my decision. I'm the one that chose to marry him. But, you know, I have been surprised to hear how little he is liked and respected. I'm going to wrap up for today. And we're going to do part 2 next week. We're going to talk about a situation where he was actually here physically and how my friends really supported me through all that time. So until I talk to y'all next time, just remember that just like Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, the journey is so much better when you've got friends.